What does the unique means to you and 150 words? And if you cry and because the sun has gone out of your life and you are the tired and will present you from the setting the stars and Rabindranath Tagore. Difficulties level. Introduction. This is the beautiful, poignant and quiet that the encourage and funding hope and beauty even in time of the sadness or loss. It is suggested that if you focus too much on the what you are lost and you might miss out on the other wonderful things and around you, and in this the case and it uses the metaphor of crying and because the sun has gone out of your life and implying either feelings of darkness or sorrows, and how viewers it is reminds and us to look up and find the stars and which presents represented movement of light hope and beauty, and that can the still and shine through even in difficult time body. The different meanings of this quotes and lies in its the message of resilience and optimist, and the others the power of the perspectives, and it is the RJs used to not become so consumed and by the other sorrows and losses that we fail to the appreciated, and the others and successes of light and beauty and that the exist in our the lives, and when we face difficult time or experience loss it's the naturals and to gripes and feel the sadness. However, it is the important to remember that life is full of the ups and down, and even in the darkest moment there are still small moment of brightness and hope, and by the dwellings on others on our the sorrows to the intensely, and we may the miss out on the opportunities for healings growth and new experience that are available to us. His suggestions are that the alliance and with the message of this the quartos is to the practice and mindfulness and gratitudes, and take moments each day to the reflected on the positive aspects of your life on matter no matters and how small they may seem, and this can the help and shift your focus away and from what you have lost and towards the things and that still bring light and joy. Additionally, seeking supports from the loved ones and the engaging in activities and that brings and you comfort and joy, and fundings ways to give back or help others can also contribute to other more balanced and positive outlooks. It is okay to gripes and but it also important to allow the space for and hope and healings to enter your life. Conclusions. It is reminds and us that the life is the mixture of joy and sorrows, and that embraces both allow and use to the navigates and our the journey and with other fullers and understandings of the human experience, and through the seeking supports engaging in meaningful activities and the fundings way to give back, and we can the cultivates a the more balanced and hopeful outlooks ultimately, and this the quote and serves and us a reminders and that even in our the darkest moment and there are still stars and shining brightly and waiting to guide us forward. What does this quartos means to you and 150 words, and we have to dare to be the ourselves, and how yours the fightings and or the strength that self may prove to be the may certain. The question is a part of the static syllabus of general study. General study paper 4 and part of the quartos on Wednesday in mission 2024, and square structure of the answer. Introduction begin by the explaining the literal meaning of quartz and written about the meaning of the wing and ourself and the various impediments and restrictions on wing in ourself, family, society and lack of the belief, and write about the impact of the same and ways in which one can themselves and substantials and with example. Conclusion summarizing by the highlighting the importance of the quartz and in the present day is introductions. Knowing yourself is the beginning in the beginnings of all the wisdoms, and according to the legal now self was the curved and into the stone at the entrance to Apollo temple at Delphi in the Greece, and even through the curved and stone that disappeared and long ago, and thus two words and stay in our minds and for thousands of years. And the philosopher Socrates and famously declared and that the unexamined and life was not the worthy and living, and he would sum up all the philosophical commands and to know yourself and only by the knowing ourself and we can dare to be the ourself body to dare to be the ourselves, and one of those and facts is and to be the ourselves involve acknowledging your limitations, and only when we have learned our the personalities and our the behaviors and our the shortcomings, and we can the truly try to be the genius and authentics, and we will stop pretending the days, and we learn what we can do and the aspect ला इथं ध्यान भूल गई तू learn our personality, our behavior, and the our shortcomings, and we can the truly and try to the genius and the authenticals, and we will stop the pretending the day we learn and what we do and the expected it, and one should not try to the fill into the world and by being the superficials. We must be the our real self and only. We will stop pretending. We must be our real and self. Only then we can be the truly and contact and find purposes and meaning to life. Self awareness is something and that the everyone can the always and improve. It is the emotional intelligence, perspectiveness, and critical thinking, and it is means knowing our the weakness, and but it also means and knowing our the strength and what motivates us. The experience of self discovery in undoubtedly and the challenging most knowledge and comes the gradually without the immediately and impact, but some movement of true realizations can offer other surprising release and for years of the self doubts. Self-doubts and once and this the happened, and we should remove any decade or mask that we wear and trying to be the true and to others the belief and the principles, and only then will the world and see us for and who we the true and who we true are, and it is also lead and to the rights and path and ultimately to right and the destinations, and take for the instance Gandhi ji, and he did not the bow and down to the anyone for him chooses and what he believed in. He wore the indigenous and clothes even when people made fun of him, and this was the because and he dared and to be the himself, and because and the icons and inspiring figures for the generation to come and conclusion. Living well is not easy, and but if we really and want to live our lives, and we must fight to make it is happen, and because if we are not living our lives and we are not living, and we are just exciting, and to live truly is to be the ourselves in any the contact and situations, and not the put on and the act to please the someone else. Question: what does the quiet means to you? And 150 words, and the soul becomes dying, and with the colors of its the thorough and Martius and Aurelius. Difficulties leaves by the question. Introduction: the mind is everything, and what you the think and you becomes the Buddhas, and it is how you think and act that the determined and the life you leads and way you see the world. And if one is the optimistic, and then he is the hopeful and will have the right drink drive and to do the somethings and the productive, and he be happy. And similarly, if one is the pessimist and sees negative aspect of life, and without the seeing the glass half full, he will be and either miserable and soul, and we will the always be unhappy body. Every day we have the 16,000 thought, and most of them are the same and as the day before. And most of them are the negatives, and we the choose and to the experts and spends and our life worrying and about what the futures what the future might and brings to the complain about our the present and the circumstances, and about and what are missing in our the lives and our whole livings and our personality and our and self worth, and is all the because of our mind and the thought, and that the consumes us, and the majorities of the time is spent thinking, and we are the surrounded and not by the pupils and but by ours the own thought, and hence they play and the important role in the shaping our personality and determine our state of mind. Thought are so powerful, even wars and peace and are results and of the thoughts of mankind, and or of one person's and very clocks of the brain and the paralyzed the thought other troubled and brain cannot think clearly and the vigorously locally. If we want to change our experience and our life, and we have to the change the frequency of our the thought, and we have to pay and closer attention and to our the soul thought, and because they are the ones and that the shape the life we want to lead. Conclusion: it is our avance the resolutions and to the accomplish and the somethings, and which makes other different, put all the heart and the mind in the smallest task, and we do it the consciously, and develop the right mindset, and have the courage to the expect your failure learn from it and the improve yourself and keep moving the forward, and all that we are in the result of the what we have the thought, and it is founded and in our the thoughts, and it is made up of the our thoughts. And if other man speaks of acts, and with other pure thought and happiness follow him, and like other sword that never leaves him. Attitude and foundation value for the civil service, and integrity and the impartiality and non partnership objectives, dedication to public service, and the empathy and tolerant and compensations toward the weaker section. What is the fortitudes? Discuss it. It's the important with the example 150 word. Fortitudes introduction. Fortitude is the firmness of the spirit, especially in difficulties. It is the provided for the consultancy in the pursuits of virtues, and the fortitude is the willingness to the freely go beyond the call of the duties, and to make the sacrifice, and to act on the yours convict fortitude, and conclude the courage, and to the conform our the personal weakness and the attractions to voice body. Any individual engaged and in the public service and will face the multiple challenges in the fulfillment of their goals. Fortitude is other display of the courage in other difficulty situations, other situation where other disasters and like and the earthquakes and has taken places required and immune fortitude. And this the attitude ensures peace and the attract and the positivity. It is lead unto the courageous and pupils the comings and out to face the truth and the civil service. Civil service involve the decisions and making in the public spheres, and they have to the deal and with many the matters, and that are the anonymous and the discreet, and due to this the fortunes and is other is and the immediate and the desirables and qualities in civil servants. Example: Kiran Bedi, IPS officers and other traffic chalan and to the then the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and is the later vehicles was the parked wrongly. A person with the fortitude and will not give up the easily, and the despite the disappointings and result of the setbacks, and will the continuously and fight to the improve the system. Adverse sides could be in form of the dilemmas and conflict of the interested, and should the decisions making to face fake cases against and the honest officers, and time management and striking a balance and between the person and the personal lives, and to the fight corruptions. AG Ashok Chemka, an IS officer and undertook case against the business mafia, and hid on the despite the fears to his the life and limb. Conclusion: all the virtuous exist as the forms of the balance, and so must be the carefully and distinguished and from the various excesses and which the threatened and to the substitute for the virtuous. This is the especially untrue in the case of the fortunate and with and can the easily degenerated and with the into extremes of the brassness crowd eyes. When you have integrity and you are likely and to the make good decisions and treat others with respect and be the successful in life, and the substantious 150 word. Introductions. In looking for pupils, here's looks and for the three qualities and the integrity, intelligence and energy, and if and they don't have the first, the others and to the bill kill you, and the Warren Buffett. Integrity is having a strong set of the ethically principles and being able to the tell the truth and no matters the consequences, and admitting to other wrong even if you could get away and without and doing it. The integrity is about doing the right things. It is the being incorruptible, honest, and the above all doings and all the things, and when no one is the around and to see it. Body integrity is other four-step process, and keeping in mind the aims and the purposes of the one's actions or the inactions, and the acting and the consultancy and with the choice, and even when it is the inconveniences or the profitables, and to do so choosing the right and courses of the conduct is the conformity and with the moral principles and openings declarings and once the intentions or wares and are state and result of one actions. And in the 1964 and Mandela was sentenced and to the 27 years in the prisons at the Rowan Island. He accepted it with the dignity he now and that the overthrowings a part thread and called for the struggles and sacrifices, and was the prepared, and you are the longs and walk to the freedoms, and 10,000 days in the prisons failed to the bricks Mandela's, and he refused to comprisings on his the reliefs on lives the struggle midday. Integrity embraces all the qualities. The civil servant need to be the pupils and the of absolute integrity, because only then they can take the civil services and as other vacations, and it is the strengthened the sense of the missions, and which other civil servant is other supposed to undertakes to the serve the public and performs duties and fulfill obligations. Other similar doctrine of the vocations and was the initiated and the several thousands years ago by the Lord Krishnas in the Bhagavad Gita, and it has been mentioned there that the shorings universals and welfares for one action is the ultimate and missiles of other human beings, and but more so of those and who the hold the public office and civil servant and have to the set out the highest and standard of integrity and the morality, and this the required and self the sacrifice is the concept and that the rises and above the individuals and the hedonism and to create and the environment of public duty among the civil servants and exemplaries and civil servants, and is not the simply and one who obey and the laws and the behalves within the confines and of the law, and but is also one who the stricts and for other moral government integrity requires, and in other civil servants and the tone corporated the value of the honesty and the sympathy and the empathies and the compassion and fairness and self-control and duty, and so that he will be ours to the uphold and high personal and professional standard in all the circumstances. Conclusion: honesty is telling truth and to the others purpose, and but the integrity is about the being and truthful to oneself. Civil service and the conduct and rules, and recommends the absolutes and integrity for the civil servant, and irrespective and of theirs the department also every civil servant is the supposed and to take all the possible and step to ensure the integrity of all the government servant for the times and being under his the control, and only be the honest, and but should also have the reputations of being, and so the integrity has been the considerably bravely and the witnessed and by the declarings, and that other civil servant and must keep the himself and within the bound of the administrative decencies continent and meant, and can help you the distinguish and between the want and need the discuss the importance and of the containment of civil servant, and 151 difficulty level easy by the question. The question is the part of the static syllabus of general study for and key demand of the question to write about the importance of the containment and descriptive directive words discuss. This is an all the encompassing the directive you must debate and on papers, and by going through the detail of the issues and concern by the examining and each one of them, and you must give the reason for both for and against argument and structure of the answer. Introductions: start by defining and the containment and bodies, and write about the importance of the containment, and the containment means to be the happy and with the what you have and who you are and the wheres and you are. It is the respecting and the realities of the present, and it is the appreciating and what you do have and where you are in life. Contentment and does not means the absence of the desires, and it is just means and you are the satisfied and with yours present, and you trust that and the turns and yours the life and tax will be for the best. Introduction: containment and means to be happy and with what you have and you are and you who you are and the where you are, and it is the respected the realities of the present, and it is the appropriatings and what you do have and the where you are in life, and the contentment and does not the means the absence of desires, and it just means and you are the satisfied and with you are the present, and you trust and that the turns and yours the life task and will be for the best and body. Many pupils and today the think and life is other race, and where you must be the best at everything, and you might want a fancier and car are the bigger houses are the better earning jobs or the more money the movement and be achieve, and one thinks the race for the next thinkings and start the rarely and do more do many the individuals and spares are the minutes to just sit back and relax and be the grateful and for all they have the achieved, and instead of looking and back to back to the instance, and they have the covered, and they stand the themselves and to cover the instant and that the remains, and in the some cases, and this is when ambitious and becomes agreed. There is the often other fine lines between the of ambitions and greeds, and pupils may think and that when they have achieved all they need for their the dreams and lifestyle, then they will be the satisfied and with what they have. But this is the rarely the case, and even after and you have the ticket of all the achievement and from you list and you still don't feel it the ease. There may and remain and the uneasy and feelings, and that the some things is still missing, and that the missing feelings is the containment containments, and can help us the distinguished and between the want and need, and when we are the content, and we know we may not desire for the anything and more than what we need, and the abundance of the present is enough and to the lead a happy and the healthy life. Contentment and often lead to the realizations and that the joy that don't come from the materials and things, the instead and joy comes from deep and the within other state of contentment, and lead to other state of well-being and happiness. Humanities has been in pursuit of the illusions and the state of happiness or the beliefs for the centuries, and importance of the contentment for the civil services as other servants. As the public servants, the responsibilities is to the subs and pupils and not the looking for the personals gains and public life, and has the major dimensions of the selflessness, and which comes and when one is contented, and without the contentment other person in public life and will be the swayed and away by the individuals and desiring and the greed, and which may the stand and outside in the direction of the public interest, and for example aid the roots of the unhealthy social problems like the corruption in public life and involve the lack of the contentment. Thus, it helps the check corruption and morality and exploitation of public resources. Containment help in dispassionate and analysis of the situations and help him the explore and what his need and both the materials and mentals are, and whether they can be made in the legal and transparent ways, and being the contented other civil servants and things of the public welfare without any the quiet pro and q and conclusion. If we wish to the feel and the essence and of the contentment, and it's important to practice and the gratitudes and be aware of the fact and that the nothing is the permanent, and understand and that the material thing and do not often promotes long term happiness, and release that the life is not other race or the competitions, and it is about the self and substance, and the more thankful and we are in the present and the heaviers we may be and what are the factors and that the max and individuals develop and composition 150 but difficulties levels. Introduction. Comparisons is other disappears deeper levels of the empathy and the demonstrating are the actual desires and to help the sufferings and person, it is the unique feeling of sympathy and for the sufferings of the others, and there the involve emotions and empathy towards the others, other sense of the understanding and the drive other to prove it is willingness and to relieve the sufferings of the others, and it is the sympathies and pity and the concern for the suffering or the misfortunes of the others, and it is the motivated pupils to go out of their the ways and to the help the physical mental or the emotional pains of the others. ऊपर लेके हाँ body development of the compensation and the intrinsics and the factor and the existing factors, family and friends emulating and the behavior of the authoritative and figures in the families and the friends circle makes one the component and gives other component and outlooks to the individuals and self-awareness, being aware of the one and behaviors and privileges and understandings the factors and influences one attitude can the allows and make the one and the compassionated and role models and fun can the worships and heroes the worship or the inspirationals and leaders who leads by the example are the extrinsics and the factor for being and the compassionated experiences understanding the pain of the others and comes the easily and when one has expired experiences and someone else and compensations toward the themselves in time of crisis and this will the make and them the compassionated in turn to the return the good and to the society. Seeing the injustice and inequalities and the understanding why there is inequalities and will make one and compensated and the philanthropics in natures. Compensations is the guiding star to advance the humanity in crisis and settings without the compensation and which the literally and means the suffering and together. We would not be able to the put and ourselves into each other's shoes and oversee the crisis and through the eyes of other child and relieve that others women's lives and are the both having the sometimes and why the taking risk if we want society and to be the inclusively and the cohesive and the peaceful and this is the time to the fosters and the alliances and between the cultures and civilizations and peoples global and the fraternity and global villages and must become other realities to save the humankind and from other impendings and the apocalypse and which is man-made. Conclusion: the world disparities and stand in need of the compensations and today is the compensations and which is the reached and out to the involved unloved and the all ostracized and the marginalized and the vulnerable is the compensations takes other stand for the poor and the victims of the injustice, the refugees and the displaces other compensation that is able to the negate and the overcomes the hate and the divisiveness and the humankinds must be the compensated to each others and to see the world thrives.